In this video, I will attempt to beat Pokémon Fire Red using only fighting-type Pokémon with a hardcore Nuzlocke rule set. The rules are on screen now. I play with rare candies to avoid having to grind endlessly. In the Gen 3 Kanto remakes, there are only 5 fighting-type encounters available before the national decks, which are on screen now. 2 of them appear in the same location, meaning I will have a maximum of 4 Pokémon this run. With that out of the way, let's get into it. I start by naming myself Coach and my rival Belt. I choose Bulbasaur as a starter, so my rival will have a part flying type starter in Charizard, though my actual first encounter is a Mankey in Route 22. It's here where I make a slight modification to the rule of the first unique eligible encounter. It is absolutely vital for this run to succeed to have a Mankey with a speed increasing nature that doesn't decrease attack, as well as for it to be at the lowest possible level of level 2 in order to EV train as efficiently as possible. Hence, after catching one fulfilling these criteria and naming him Klitschko, this will mark the reset point in case of any wipes moving forward. The primary obstacle in this run will be the early game. Klitschko is my only encounter for the first 3 gyms, so XP management is crucial. I train up by attacking level 2 Mankeys exclusively for the attack EV and minimize XP gains at the same time by switch training. Once Klitschko reaches level 11 and learns Karate Chop, I challenge Brock underleveled. 2 Karate Chops fell the Geodude while I'm sitting at a comfortable amount of HP. The Onix puts up more of a fight, but still goes down with Klitschko sitting at 7 HP remaining. Now is when the difficult part begins. I have to stay underleveled in order to meet Misty's level cap, which makes a lot of fights more difficult. The first hurdle shows up in the form of Nerd Miguel, who has 3 Pokémon of quite a high level compared to mine. Though I am able to take down his Grimer almost untouched, I get poisoned, which heavily impacts the rest of the battle. His coughing then gets a critical hit with Smog, meaning my Oran Berry sadly isn't able to save me, and this marks the end of the first attempt. In attempt 2 things go better, as I am able to take down his Grimer without getting poisoned due to a lucky miss. Though his coughing manages to poison me, a critical hit scratch manages to even out the odds, as my Oran Berry keeps me healthy enough to face his final Pokémon with 15 HP remaining. Luckily the Voltorb doesn't select a damaging move, and Karate Chop's enhanced critical hit ratio comes through for the one shot. This by no stretch of the imagination means the hardest part is behind us. My rival Belt shows up at the Cerulean Bridge with 4 Pokémon, while I still only have my underleveled Mankey. My strategy is a bit luck reliant, as it requires Mankey to hit 2 attacks in a row to kill the Pidgeotto. Meanwhile the Pidgeotto needs to opt for Sand Attack instead of a damaging move. Unsurprisingly, this is not the way the events happen, and the Pidgeotto deals more than half with Gust. To add insult to injury, he hangs on with 1 HP and kills Klitschko to end the second attempt. I play from the reset point onwards again and again, but I fail 10 more times. On the 12th attempt, I finally succeed. By this point I had already altered my strategy by once again turning to min-maxing attack EVs, this time using level 6 seconds. My strategy this time around was to lower the Pidgeotto's defenses and have a roll to kill using Rock Tomb. A lucky crit however seals the deal, as the Pidgeotto goes down in one shot. Abra is quite literally helpless, and Rattata gets outsped for the instant super effective KO. All I have to fear now is Charmander getting an Ember crit or burn, neither of which end up happening, meaning I can finally move forward. I was already fairly high leveled at the end of the rival fight and still had to go through 9 more mandatory trainers before I could fight Misty, but by dodging all optional trainers and strategically choosing between mandatory trainers where possible, I am just barely able to eke it out and enter the gym fight without overleveling. My strategy for the fight is to maximize my critical hit chances to bypass Staryu's Hardens, but she doesn't end up setting up. Klitschko was also equipped with a Persim Berry to cure any confusions from Water Pulse, but Staryu didn't get a confusion. I am able to take it down with 34 HP remaining plus the additional 2 from the level up. With regards to Starmie, it is absolutely vital I hit a Rock Tomb to slow it down, otherwise it will kill me before I get the chance to attack. Not getting crit by Water Pulse or confused and hanging on with 5 HP, I get a crit of my own to take Starmie down to half. Landing a Mega Kick seals the deal, and the Cascade badge is mine. In the Trek to Vermilion City, there is only 1 required trainer. In the SS Aqua 2, the rival fight is the only required battle. Klitschko is already halfway through level 23 at the start of the battle, so this'll be tight. Klitschko is able to take down the Pidgeotto by landing 2 Rock Tombs in spite of the accuracy drop from Sand Attack. It was necessary to go for Rock Tomb here instead of perfectly accurate Aerial Ace because the Kadabra has Disable, which it actually just misses as it goes down to a singular Mega Kick. The Raticate cannot withstand a Karate Chop, as Klitschko still has full HP to face the Charmeleon. Klitschko is able to bring the Charmeleon down to half HP with a Karate Chop, but gets hit with a Smokescreen, further lowering his accuracy. After whiffing a couple of turns, he finally connects with a Rock Tomb for the KO. Since there's once again but one required trainer in the gym, I am able to just barely scrape by the level cap and engage Lieutenant Surge without overleveling. I taught Klitschko the TM for Dig for this fight, which is able to one-shot both Surge's lead Voltorb as well as the follow-up Pikachu. His ace Raichu however annoyingly boosts its evasion with double team and is able to survive a dig with a sliver. Klitschko gets paralyzed by his static ability but gets cured by held Cherry Berry. Luckily Surge doesn't heal back to full HP with a super potion, meaning another dig is enough to take the Raichu down for the Thunder Badge. I can finally enlarge my team in Rock Tunnel by catching a Machop, whom I name Gerb. I once again fight my rival in the Lavender Pokémon Tower. I upgraded Klitschko's moveset with the Rock Slide move Tutor in Rock Tunnel, which is able to one-shot the Pidgeotto. The Execute is taken to below half by a Mega Kick, as it sets up a Reflect, raising its team's defenses enough to survive a second one and retaliate with a hard Confusion, taking Klitschko to half and forcing him to use the held Citrus Berry way earlier than I had hoped. I take it out with a final aerial ace. Not even with a Reflect setup can the frail Kadabra survive a Mega Kick. Even with a Reflect setup and Klitschko's attack cut down by Intimidate, I have no option but to stay in against the Gyarados and hit it with Rock Slides. The Rock Slide actually manages to get a flinch though, so the next turn the Reflect wears off. Klitschko is able to land another and take it down with an aerial ace, but gets taken down to 19 HP in the process. My best bet is still to stay in against the Charmeleon though. I click Rock Slide to deal as much damage as possible, and miraculously get a flinch, meaning Klitschko can take it down the next turn. Because Klitschko grew to level 28 in the fight, he gets to evolve into Primeape for a much needed upgrade to the team. He is soon followed by Gerb evolving into a Machoke during the Team Rocket Game Corner Hideout quest. Speaking of which, it's time for the first Giovanni battle. His entire team is weak to fighting type moves, so Gerb is able to take his Pokémon down cleanly. Now it's time to challenge Erika. Klitschko deals major damage to her Victory Bell with Aerial Ace, and shrugs off a Stun Spore with another held Cherry Berry to take it down next turn with another. The same fate befalls her Tangela, which deals some damage with a Giga Drain. Last up is her Vileplume, which tries mimicking the Victory Bell but misses the Stun Spore, resulting in her early demise and the Rainbow Badge. The map opens up a whole lot now, as I take a pretty unorthodox route. I first head to Fuchsia City to obtain the Good Rod and catch a Poliwag to add to the team. I name her Taylor and immediately evolve her into a part fighting type Poliwrath. I then go to Saffron City, where I obtain a bunch of black belts from the fighting dojo, as well as my final team member, a Hitmonchan whom I call Tunny. I then take on the Sylph Co Team Rocket Quest, during which Gerb evolves into Machamp thanks to the Universal Pokémon Randomizer. It's once again time to fight my rival, but this time I have a full team to count on. Klitschko is able to take down his lead Pidgeot with 2 Rock Slides and a flinch, and the Execute with 2 Aerial Aces as it misses a Stun Spore. As per usual, the Alakazam gets outsped and falls to a single Mega Kick. The Charizard's gained Flying type actually multiplies the damage it takes from a Rock Slide, meaning it goes down in one shot. I still have full HP remaining as I face his final Pokémon, Gyarados, which only hits a weak Twister before going down to 2 Rock Slides himself. Giovanni puts up more of a fight than my rival, as his lead Nidorino survives a Mega Kick from Klitschko and poisons me with his ability. I take it down with an Aerial Ace and swap out to Taylor but get paralyzed from a Body Slam on the switch-in. Held Mystic Water boosted Surfs are able to take down the Nido Queen, but Taylor is paralyzed and in the yellow now, so I pivot to Gerb on the Kangaskhan. Gerb eats a heavy-hitting Mega Punch for more than half and retaliates with a Brick Break for the kill. He is then able to one-shot the Rhyhorn with another Brick Break. I then challenge Sabrina, a bit underleveled because of Koga's level cap being so close. This comes back to bite me however, as an Aerial Ace from Klitschko leaves the lead Kadabra on what must be one singular hit point, meaning it launches a Future Sight at me. After Sabrina heals, a second Aerial Ace gets a higher roll and one-shots this time. Her female Mr. Mime then goes down to 1 Mega Kick, as Klitschko eats the Future Sight when her Alakazam enters the field. I have nobody to swap into, so I just stay in and select Mega Kick, but for whatever reason Sabrina opts for another Future Sight, meaning Klitschko can one-shot the Alakazam. Her Venomoth finally requires only 1 Rock Slide crit for the Marsh Badge. There was one more reason I took on Saffron City first, that being the TM for Psychic, which Taylor uses in the fight against Koga to one-shot the lead Coughing. Koga's Muck has good special defense and hence only takes around 40% damage from a Psychic and sets up Minimize. A lucky special defense drop, however, ensures that the next Psychic is able to take it down. The second Coughing once again goes down to a single Psychic, and the Wheezing has way less special defense than Muck, so it gets taken down to the yellow, only hitting a Toxic in return. The following Psychic finishes the battle for the Soul Badge. Taylor continues her onslaught in the Fire Gym battle against Blaine. Mystic Water boosted Surfs are able to one-shot the Growlithe and Ponyta, as well as the Rapidash after a bit of bounce shenanigans. Because she does not match Blaine's Arcanine's level, a single Surf misses out on the KO as she gets brought down to half by a Fire Blast. A critical hit Surf on the next turn ensures the one-shot though as Blaine heals up for the Volcano Badge. Taylor still hasn't had enough of the spotlight as she takes on the ground gym battle with Giovanni. Super effective Surfs make quick work of his Rhyhorn, Dugtrio, Nidoqueen, Nidoking and his other Rhyhorn, easily obtaining the Earth Badge. Belt and I have one more battle before I face the Pokémon League. Klitschko barely misses out on one-shotting the Pidgeot with a cross chop, as he gets brought to half by a wing attack. Next turn he finishes the bird with an aerial ace. The Alakazam still has yet to actually hit an attack this run as he goes down to another Mega Kick. The Charizard still hasn't learned how to deal with rocks either. Unlike the Pidgeot, his Rhyhorn cannot withstand a cross chop, but his Execute actually dodges a Mega Kick and paralyzes with Stun Spore, so I swap out to Taylor to one-shot it with an Ice Beam. I then deal some damage to his Gyarados with some more Ice Beams, but ultimately swap out to Tunny to end it with a Thunder Punch. After going through all the necessary preparation, this is the team I bring to the League Challenge. A pre-burned Gerb for the Guts ability with Brick Break, Foresight Earthquake and Cross Chop. Klitschko with Cross Chop, Rock Slide, Mega Kick and Aerial Ace. Taylor with Psychic, Surf, Thief and Ice Beam, and lastly Tunny with Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Fire Punch and Sky Uppercut, all leveled up to level 60 to match Lance's Dragonite. First up is Lorelei and her Ice types. Needless to say, Gerb goes to town on her. Guts boosted super effective fighting type attacks are able to take down all of her Ice types in one shot. Meanwhile the Slowbro just goes down to 2 Earthquakes without dealing any damage himself. Against a fellow fighting type Die Hard, Bruno, Gerb gets to continue his amazing streak. I gave him the leftovers to hold this time so the burn damage doesn't stack up too much. All of his Pokémon go down to either a single Brick Break or Cross Chop. That's what he gets for betraying the fighting type by adding in 2 Onyxes. Against Agatha, Gerb gets to take a backseater for a while as I lead with Taylor. With proper speed investment, she is able to outspeed her first Gengar and deal major damage with Psychic to finish it off with a second attack. The same goes for her Golbat, though it hits a nasty air cutter first. Her Haunter too gets outsped and one shot with a Psychic. Her second Gengar is faster though and puts Taylor to sleep with a Hypnosis, but a held Lumberry wakes her up and allows her to deal big damage with a Psychic. The Gengar heals itself with a held Citrus Berry, though, and once again puts Taylor to sleep, so I swap out to Klitschko to take it out with a couple of Rock Slides and Aerial Aces. Gerb once again takes to the field to fell her final Pokémon, Arbok, with a single Earthquake. And just like that I have already reached Lance Deathless. His lead is a Gyarados, so Tunny gets to take the field for the second time this run to take it down with 2 Thunder Punches. Sadly, this is also Tunny's last time entering the field as Lance's Aerodactyl comes in and I need to let Tunny go down for a clean switch. I go for one more Thunder Punch fishing for a potential paralysis, but to no avail, as Tunny goes down. Taylor is then able to kill it with a Surf, but not before taking big damage herself from a wing attack. This brings in Lance's Dragonite, but Taylor came equipped with Ice Beam to take it down in 2 attacks as it simply sets up Safeguard. His Dragonair then survives an Ice Beam on a Sliver and paralyzes Taylor, so I swap to Klitschko on a heal turn. Klitschko is then able to take down this Dragonair and the next one with 1 Cross Chop apiece. And with that, it's time to take the championship belt. You know the drill by now. He leads Pidgeot, I lead Klitschko and click Rock Slide. I finish the bird off with an Aerial Ace as his Alakazam enters the field. Right here I misclick and select Aerial Ace when I wanted to click Mega Kick instead, but the GOAT Klitschko gets a critical hit so Aerial Ace still one-shots. His Charizard still hasn't gotten over his fear of rocks and it goes down in 1 shot as usual. Against his Executor I go for Aerial Ace, and it does about half as I get hit with an Egg Bomb which deals 70 damage. I then go for another Aerial Ace, thinking that'd be enough, but it survives on a Sliver as Klitschko is taken down to 41 HP. I keep on going for Aerial Ace as my rival heals, and I'm fully prepared to let Klitschko go down now, but Klitschko proves once again why he is the GOAT of this run by getting another crit to take it down. I swap to Taylor on his Rhydon and tank an Earthquake so I can take it down with a Surf. All that's left now is his Gyarados, which I prepare to deal as much damage to with Ice Beam as Taylor sadly goes down. With the Gyarados at low HP, Klitschko once again gets to come out and demonstrate why his GOAT status is undisputed as he outspeeds and takes it down with a Rock Slide for the victory. And with that, my 4 fierce fighters enter the Hall of Fame as I have successfully completed a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokémon Fire Red using only fighting type Pokémon. Thanks for watching.